Welcome, Robert Parkinson. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Good. How are you feeling?
Good.
Excellent. What brings you to see me today?
Well, I've had these for many years, these two different coloured eyes, and I just thought that what it meant, or I didn't know what it meant, or
Okay.
I just wanted to see.
Okay. So, well, what I can do for you today is conduct an iris assessment, which involves me looking at your iris, so the colour of your eye, whether they're two different colours, which are actually linked or correlate to organs and tissues within your body. Doesn't necessarily mean that we will find something wrong with you today. What I can identify is if you have a predisposition or possibly a family history of something that could correlate.
Very good.
Now, for me to do that, you're obviously okay that I conduct assessment on your eyes today?
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, I'll be using two tools today. I have a iris light, which actually has a magnifying glass, and I'll also may be required to use a side lighting. Are you okay with me to be using those?
Yes.
Now, because I am shining a light direct into your eye, if you do need to blink, by all means blink. Don't feel pressure that you've got to keep your eye wide open. Okay, so do that. So basically what iridology is it's a non-invasive way of, like I said, not diagnosing you with anything, just letting you educate you on areas that may need nurturing, or if there's anything that I can see. So I just need also clarification that this video is being used for an assessment, which I'll need to upload to the internet for my assessor. Just wondering if that's okay for you to be on the video.
Quite fine.
Excellent. All right, so what we might make a start is, we might start with your right eye. Now, also, I have to just make sure it's okay that I might have to raise your eyelid, just to get a better look.
Yes.
Beautiful. So, I'll just get, and all I'm doing here is just making notes for your history that I'll keep confidential.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So, what I'm just going to do is move my chair into this way, just so it's nice and close here. Okay. So we're going for the left eye here. Okay. So first I'm just going to test your pupil reaction, okay? Alright, so I'm just going to come over, lift your eyelid. So all I need you to do is look at my forehead. Perfect. And away. And just always focusing on my forehead. Okay. Excellent. So pupils look good. To me, they're quite small looking from a distance as well. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just might suggest that you've been on medications for a long time. Which, have you been on a medication for a long period of time?
Yeah.
Some medications can make your pupil just perceived extra small. That's usually with regular medications. It also actually does indicate that your digestive system is functioning quite efficiently. So it just means making sure that you're eating good foods, small amounts regularly. That's just to keep that good system going. Okay, so as I can see, your left eye is what we call a mixed constitution. So mixed colour. This is your eye that's both greeny, bluey colour. It's what we refer to as a bilary type, so it's two different colours. What it can indicate is there may be a possible gastrointestinal weakness there. So do you have any issues with constipation, flatulence, liver problems that you know of? No, that's fine. Like I said, this is just a possible predisposition. Alright, I'm just going to take another look. Looking at my forehead. Okay. The other thing that I can see there is what we call a radial furrow, which basically, if you imagine a bike with its spokes pointing out, that's kind of what your iris looks like. Depending on if it's a major or a minor, which I'm going to take another look, means possible dispositions to other things as well.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm also going to identify which zone that furrow, radial furrow, is pointing at. Okay, so what I can see is using this eye chart here, I'll just show you so you can get a better understanding. Your radial furrows are minor, which they also point up towards the head region, okay? Do you suffer headaches at all?
No, I never.
Never really?
No,
okay,
no.
Yep, no, that's good, because what it can mean for most people that it could mean that they get a lot of headaches, but if you don't, then that's fine.
That's one thing I don't get.
Yep, okay. So, the other thing that I did just slightly identify was what we call peripheral constriction. So what it means is the top of your eye was showing a little bit constricted there, which can correlate to short-term memory, or cold hands and feet. Now, do you find that your short-term memory isn't as good as your long-term?
It's probably, that's pretty right,
Yeah, yep.
Cold hands and feet are definitely a thing that I do have.
You do have cold extremities, okay. Just, another indication. What you can do for things like that, there are herbs that can actually help with circulation. But if it's not a huge underlying problem, it's just something that you could nurture there. Okay. So, just taking another look. Okay. So another thing that I can tell you is that your left eye, is inherited from your mother's side.
Okay.
So I don't know, is your mother her eye colour?
No, her father was.
Right, it had the two different coloured eyes?
Definitely.
Okay, which is what we refer to as heterochromia iridum, meaning two separate different coloured eyes.
Yep.
Some people actually have two different colours in the one eye with a very distinct line, but for you, you've got a completely opposite eye.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is take a look into your right eye, which I can already see is the blue side. So I'm just going to readjust myself here. Okay, so again, I'll just need to lift your eyelid.
Yes.
So I'm just going to have a look again at the pupils. Okay, so your right eye definitely indicates a little bit more going on. From visually seeing you from here, both your eyes actually identify with what's called a scurf ring. Now what that is around your entire iris. It's a little bit darker. It's like an actual outline, okay? Now, just a few questions. What that actually relates to, the outer layer of that iris, is related to your skin, okay? Do you have any skin issues? Eczema, psoriasis?
Psoriasis, yes.
You do identify with having psoriasis?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so basically I'm going to take a look into your right eye here. Now, already I can see that you've got your blue or lymphatic eye there. What that can also predispose you to is a lot of congestion, okay? So whether it's being asthma, like any sort of respiratory congestion there. Do you find that you suffer from asthma at all?
I had asthma when I was a young diagnosed years ago.
Okay.
58 now, so I would have been 10 years old, I suppose.
Yeah, okay.
Had an asthma attack, and took up swimming,
Yep.
but I still find now I have problems only usually around wheat dust in paddocks. And
Okay, right. So you find yourself out in paddocks a lot?
yeah, that's for my job. Yeah.
Okay, right. So definitely that's a factor of congestion, and then also maybe being a bit predisposed to being congested. Sorry. Okay. What about things like bronchitis? Have you
Yeah, I
suffered?
have bronchitis.
You did. Okay. Yep. Can identify being the eye colour type that you are on your right eye, I must say, which is also inherited from your father's side. Okay, so any sort of inheritance that you can think of that your father, he had blue eyes, or
Yeah, Dad did.
yeah. So for you being the interesting case of the two different colour, you can identify that your right eye was from your father and left eye from your mother.
Very good.
Okay, again with your right eye, I can see that scurf ring, so that dark outline in your eye, which we sort of mentioned has to do with your skin, because it's the outer layer.
Okay.
You think it corresponds with your outer layer. Now your skin is the elimination system in your body. You actually sweat out toxins, everything comes, then your bacteria is on your skin. Do you have any skin related issues that you can think of?
Oh yeah, definitely psoriasis.
Psoriasis, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Diagnosed with the psoriasis?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Scalp.
Yep.
And, yeah, just my scalp.
Right, okay. And you're treating that, are you?
Yes.
Yep. Medication?
No,
or?
ointments. Yeah.
Okay, so topical treatment, okay. With skin concerns like that, there are certain things that you can take that can help build up skin, which is silica is a very common one that people take. But if you're using a medicated ointment, then by all means you stay with that.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to take one more look for the moment and set that. Right, so definite standing out is what I call a lymphatic rosary. Now there's plenty of names for that. It basically looks like a beaded necklace.
Yes.
Lots of little white bead-like in a line on the outer iris. Now I'm just going to note that down. So what this again can relate to is a strong disposition to congestion.
Yes.
Which, as you've mentioned, that you get quite congested when you're out working with the dust. Bit of asthma when you were a child and bronchitis. Okay. Basically what you can do, so for these sorts of people I should say, is regular exercise. The way that works is, when you're actually exercising, you breathe really deep. What actually happens is your lymphatic system is detoxified through your lungs, okay? And that's why we say carbon dioxide comes out. So by doing that, your regular exercise, it's causing your lungs to detoxify toxins or congestion, and you're helping that happen. So yeah, if there's anything I can suggest, it's regular exercise. Do you find that you do regular exercises at the moment?
I swim every day.
Yep. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. All year round?
Try to do it all year round, yes.
Okay, fantastic.
And an exercise bike.
Wonderful.
Walking machine, sorry.
Yep. So yeah, you're doing all the right things there to help the congestion. Well done. Now, what I also saw on the right eye was same as the left, those bike spokes, but yours again are just directly into the head area, which you had already mentioned that you don't suffer from headaches.
No.
That's fine. Okay. So, what I'm going to have a look now is at your pupil. Okay, we're just going to look at how the shape, the colour, anything that I can identify there. Okay, so I'm just taking a look. So pupils are healthy, like I had mentioned, they're a little small, but they're black. There's no like lines that I should be concerned about looking at there, so that's fine. The other point on your iris that I'd like to look at is the collarette, or what we call an AMW. And basically what it relates to is that digestive system, which is a very big topic for some people.
Yeah.
So I'll just see what I can identify. Now I'm just going to use my side lighting just so I can get a better look at the fibres. Okay, so what I can identify there is that your collarette actually is not absent but near absent, so it's not a defined line. What that can indicate is a possible poor absorption of nutrients. So the best thing there, have you been to your local doctor, had a sort of blood test?
Yes. Yeah. 6 months ago.
Yeah, everything was fine then?
Fine, yeah.
Okay. No history that you can think of family members being deficient? No iron deficiencies, calcium, vitamin D deficiencies? No? Okay, wonderful. What it also can identify is that people may have a really minimum energy store. So do you find when you're exercising that you've got plenty of energy but it burns out quickly, or you find yourself more of an endurance sort of person?
No, I'm more of an endurance person.
Okay.
I swim.
Yeah.
I swim, 20 laps.
Yeah.
It's a nearly a kilometre, and I can.
And that's prolonged the whole.
Yeah, and I can do. I do ocean swimming, and that's 1 kilometre.
Definitely,
so
endurance based.
Endurance.
Okay, no, that's good. The other question that I'd have is, do you find after, say, your big day at work out in the paddocks and whatnot, that when you sit down, it's done?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a minimal energy store, say which is normal. I mean, if you've had a big day, it's fine to just sit and that's it. But what that can identify with that absence of collarette is that minimal energy stores, sit down, relax.
Yeah.
So nothing to change there. You just you listen to your body there.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, what that can also correlate to on a personality or emotional level is people can identify with, say, wearing a mask. So they find that in a situation, or I can actually directly ask you, do you find in a situation it's easier to wear a mask than actually show your emotion at all, depending on the circumstance?
Yeah, I think I'm quite emotional, really, in one sense.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that's just a little extra thing that they sort of say. The other thing that I did notice with the quality, say, of your collarette, constricted, meaning it's very close to your pupil. So your pupils here, you've got constricted, meaning it's quite close. I did mention that also with your small pupil, constricted collarette can mean poor absorption of nutrients as well. How many meals would you eat a day, say, on a general... Meals, yeah.
Breakfast.
Yep.
Morning tea. Light lunch.
Yep.
And dinner.
Okay. So, do you find... tell me a bit about your portions throughout the day. What's your biggest meal? What's your smallest?
Tea would be my biggest meal.
Okay.
Morning tea's usually... I don't have not a big morning tea, but breakfast is usually quite light with some porridge and some toast. And then morning tea at 10 o'clock, I might have some saladas and fruit. I always love fruit. Lunch is always just one sandwich, cup of tea. And then dinner at night.
Which you find is your biggest meal. Okay. Now, with what you're presenting today, your digestion being maybe limiting to what you absorb, my advice would be to possibly, you're definitely doing your frequency right. You're having not just 3 meals a day, you're having the in-betweens. Possibly we need to look at swapping your sizes over. Now, you did mention your breakfast is very light. Is that because you aren't hungry, or?
Yeah, it's early, always very early.
Is it? Okay.
5:30 in the morning.
Okay, so extremely early.
Yeah.
So maybe what you could look at is having something, porridge is fantastic, very sustaining carbohydrates, great. The morning tea, maybe looking at having something really substantial there. The light lunch is great. Maybe throwing in some afternoon tea.
No, I usually have a bit of fruit.
Yeah. And minimising that dinner portion, because what happens is people have a huge dinner, they go to bed, it's not allowing your body to actually absorb the nutrients there. But if you don't have deficiencies, that's okay, but it's just a good long life thing to possibly look at. Okay, so with that, and like I said, the constricted pupil and the constricted collarette does indicate that small, frequent meals are ideal for somebody like you with your constitution. Now, we've talked about the lymphatic rosary, which was great. At this stage, do you have any questions for me that anything we've been talking about?
Well, fine.
Okay.
Very
Clear? Good. The only other thing I just want to double check, and I'm going to show you it on my map here because it makes more sense if I'm showing you on a diagram. Okay, so just looking at my forehead again. So I've identified a little spot in your eye. Now, why it stands out more is because it's on its own. Okay? So this chart here is a really good indication of what correlates with where. Now, what I've actually found is that your little dot is here around the mouth region. Now, doesn't mean that something's going on in your mouth, but it stands out as a little black dot. Now, I mean, all I can ask today, we can maybe in the future with another consultation look a little bit more in depth, but is there anything on the top of your head right now that makes sense to do with your mouth, or any family history of mouth concerns?
Not really,
no. It's just, okay. Again, these things could date back to 3 generations. Okay, it doesn't mean your dad. It could have been his great-grandfather. It's just an indication there. Okay, well, I've given you a few little things that you can take home to maybe work on that might help. You might find that you start to feel a little bit more energetic towards the afternoons when you've finished work, or the congestion. You're doing the right things by exercising there. Would you like to make it another appointment? Or okay. Well, we can definitely look at doing that. Well, it was really great meeting you today, and thank you so much for letting me assess.
Thank you very much. That's solved a lot of the issues.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with those 2 different coloured eyes. They actually bring out a lot more interesting things. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.